All right, welcome back to the podcast. Sales is not a dirty word, where we help people stop feeling weird about sales so they can sell and help more people. And I'm here with Gene Blinkov, and he is a real estate lead generation company owner. Hi, Gene.
Hey guys, what's going on? How's it going? Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah,
Great to see you. So excuse my surroundings today. It's the last of the summer, but summer's over soon, so I'm trying to get as much surfing as I can in. But this thing's like a fortress, so I think the sound should be pretty good.
yeah, I can't hear anything but you, so that's great.
That's that's good. Yeah, I don't hear anybody on the road either. It's perfect.
That's ideal. Okay, so you were telling me that you started with video, primarily filming properties, and then you realized that realtors primarily, weren't advertising themselves in a way that converted leads and sales, and so you've extended the video into like a full package that gets them more leads. And you're targeting realtors, I'm guessing?
Yes, exactly. So, and that you kind of hit the nail on the head. That we saw that we would life all around the property, and we saw that there's us and there's a number of other providers. And while us and the other providers could argue subjectively about whose stuff looks better, I quickly understood and saw that the deploying of the content that we were creating of these properties, like the content was great, it was beautiful, but the actual distribution through the correct, just certain things that you have to do correctly to deploy it to social networks to get the maximum ROI on your stuff, and then also putting some ad dollars in an intelligent way that will actually result in an ROI. We quickly saw that that's going to be our biggest service, because if you talk to any real estate agent, whether they're residential or commercial, leads and new listings is their bread and butter. So for us it was like, all right, we can serve them with presenting the properties, but we're going to go above and beyond and actually help them generate leads, because and it also works very well. It's a much more fun way to do business, because we're helping our clients get more business, and in turn they give us more business. It's just a much more fun conversation over drinks when you have that kind of relationship.
Absolutely. So where do you feel like you're getting stuck in the sales process?
Yeah, so sometimes what I'm really, there's this happened a number of times, and I'm a bit puzzled. I'm definitely looking for help in that, understanding that is sometimes you extend a proposal out to a client, right? So we've got certain for commercial projects where let's say we're creating content for a whole, like maybe 100 unit apartment building, for example, and we're creating floor plans and interior design floor plans, all kinds of awesome stuff. We put together a proposal, and then it just kind of, you know, there's been a few times where I just so curious as to what really happened. Everything's going well, but then it kind of goes a little bit of cold. And because, see, my problem is that, because to me that says that we kind of misread the level of urgency and interest.
Yeah.
And because the conversation was already in that river, now it's a little bit awkward to kind of conf- I don't want to say confront them about it, but like it's a little bit awkward in the follow up, because um, they may have sort of overextended themselves a little bit, and maybe didn't get the budget approved and stuff like that the
Yeah.
right way. And now I think sometimes what happens is we would love to, because in sales we have like a third party touch, right? If like my salesperson is selling something, if they need help in closing, I'm always so happy to call the client, find out how they're doing, use that as an opportunity to catch up, but also to get the deal done. But and I almost wish that we were able to do that for our clients, but they almost go into like a little lockup mode, where they sort of feel bad because they thought that this thing was going to happen, but all we really need to do is like talk to the folks that they're talking to, or handle some of their objections. So they're kind of like they're not even like a
Middleman.
gatekeeper. They're the gatekeeper to the objections that we should be hearing, but we're not, right?
They're a middleman. Okay.
Right.
So you're not targeting realtors. Who are you talking to then?
So, well, in this specific case, no, it is still a realtor in this case. It's just that when you're in commercial brokerages,
Mhm.
they're a real estate professional. They're a real estate. They're an associate of this commercial brokerage, but it still goes through. There's a couple more levels of approvals that it goes through with these larger commercial real estate companies.
Yeah. Okay. So how are you getting these leads?
A lot of it actually comes from SEO. We've got quite a bit coming from SEO. We've got some folks come through us from Instagram. We do a lot on Instagram. We advertise a ton on Instagram, and just organic and advertising. And then but a lot of it is actually just referrals.
Okay. So do you have like a pre-qualification app when somebody is going to get on the phone with you?
We sort of don't. To be honest, we have an application that they fill out on the website,
Right.
right? And because this is kind of a growing pain for us, because I'm pretty good at closing folks. So all I need to know is like the project, and then I dive into that project. I figure out exactly how to win them over, how to pretty much just paint the picture of how we're gonna do the like what is the best level of marketing that that property and that company at the time deserves. Um, and because of that, the sales process, having been just me for a long time, and now kind of expanding into other sales folks, I didn't really ever require that much input. So our form, if you go to our website, our form is something like, "Hey, where's your project? When are you trying to get it done?" And name, phone number, stuff like that. Your vision for the project. That's about it. I've never even really thought of, before you asked, I never really thought of adding that to maybe like, are you the decision makers? Is that
Right.
what you kind of thinking?
Yeah. Yeah. Are you the decision maker for the business? Is a big question to ask. Is there anybody else that needs to be on the call? And people can even lie and say, yes, I am.
Mm,
But if you know the title of the person who is the decision maker in a commercial brokerage, could you like look at that person on LinkedIn and see if the one you're going to talk to, if they do have the title? And if they don't have the title, when you're on the call, you can be like, okay, so is there a level of approval that needs to come from the managing partner or whatever? Like what objections do they, like what do they need to know to make this worth it for them? So instead of like talking,
I like the way you position that. That's, what do they need to know? Yeah, I like that a lot.
yeah, so it's like instead of overcoming the person on the call's objections, if they're not the decision maker and you know who the decision maker is and they're just like the associate and you need the partner, and they lied and said that they are the decision maker on the form, which happens, um,
Yeah.
you can just be like, well, what is the most important information? Like just basically ask them all about what the person who's going to make the decision needs to know, and don't even worry about this person's objections.
Right. Right. Okay. Okay. I got you. Yeah, and that's kind of how we. Yeah, because then we have like a little better expectation, as to what we can expect, if they can pull the trigger on it, or if the trigger is not being pulled, we can at least know like what the heck is going on. Now, what do you think is a good way the um to reach the actual decision maker through this intermediary person, if we are, if we already have a proposal out, and we're kind of sensing that things are not maybe going so well. How would I gauge the decision makers level of interest, level of, excitement, commitment to it, through that person? Or maybe what's a like what's a nice like trick way to to kind of get in front of them, perhaps?
Yeah, so I think that, you definitely want, if the person is not the decision maker, you want to contact them and say, like, is there any way the decision maker could get on the call? Like,
Mm.
at the same time, this will be the most efficient use of all of our time, so that you don't have to, like, go to them and, pass on the information that I'm passing to you. It's just a lot more efficient when it can come from the source. And we can move this project along for you faster, type of thing. And if they're like,
Yeah.
oh, it goes through me first, like, you can't get in front of the decision maker, then when you definitely want to address this before you get on the call, if you can. And if they're like,
Mm.
no, he's not going to talk to you, or she's not going to talk to you, I need to give the information to them, and then they'll decide if it's worth talking to you. Then you should talk to them about, like, well, how many of these projects do they typically approve? Like, what's the process of approval?
Ooh, that's another very good. Yeah, like how many? That's a yeah, like about past projects. That kind of takes the eyeballs off of this one, and that's I like that a lot. That's a very nice golden nugget right there. Is
Yeah,
asking about the last approvals and how the process went before. That's yeah, that because that takes the pressure off. Because see, I'm not gonna lie, I'm always I want to pump up the person that I'm talking to, and
right,
at the moment they're the most important thing to me in the world. Like when I'm on the phone with them, and I want to make them feel that way.
right. That's
So
great.
yeah, so that's the past thing. That's kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I think also, like, if you can understand how it would benefit, if there's a benefit to the associate if this thing gets approved with you, like, you want to touch on that, like.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning. And actually, recently, even in our ads, we've and which this is actually what happens. But even in our ads, we've been stressing the fact that the folks that are using our services that bring us on board usually end up getting promoted. So that is something that I've been definitely telling them about every single time. That's a good one.
Yeah, I think you can kind of, if that's the case, you can kind of position it as, I want to make you look really good to the person that you need to pass this on to. What information do I have to provide that makes them feel like you nailed it?
That's ooh, like see, those are perfect. Like the what information we need to provide so they feel like you nailed it. That's awesome. I think that's actually what I'm not doing right now is not doing enough of that. Making it about them being successful and not just after the project happens, but in getting it approved. That's that's
Yeah, you got to
golden.
find out, like, what yeah. Do you usually then pass it to them and they review it? I mean, I'm guessing, and you can even guess, like, is it that they need to know, like, the potential ROI on this, like the cost per acquisition? Is that something that what information, you just want to even throw out examples of information that you could provide and see?
You, you know what? That's actually I think that's so important, and the fact that we're not doing it is so bad that I think that this is something that we're actually going to put together a lead magnet about
Yeah.
and be like how to get a media project approved, and then just probably talk to some of the existing clients, like what have they learned, right? So some of the champions that we've got, um, just how they've gotten it approved, because obviously their deal happened, and what they've learned about that. I think that's probably like a white paper worthy subject, which will actually probably get us some leads too. That's actually that's yeah that's a win right there.
Cool. Well, yeah, I think that that'll make a big difference. Just asking them, can the decision maker get on the call? And if they can't, figuring out, like, what needs to happen to get it approved.
Yeah, no, that's so golden. Like that's thank you. Like that's awesome. Like I'll show you the white paper when it comes out. I'll send it your way because that's definitely happening. I think they're two because you know what the best lead magnets or the best this is just from lead gen, right? A little like if for folks that are listening or playing this back, um, the best lead magnets are things that address a problem that folks are sort of not very easy it's not very easy for them to admit that it's a problem for them.
Right.
And because you already put it in a nice package, now they have like no excuse not to do it because they've subconsciously been thinking about this problem. They've been ignoring it. They think they're good at it, but they're not.
Yeah.
But here is like, hey, like right between the eyes, like you suck at this. Like
Yeah.
check this out. Like this will make you better. That's a very irresistible lead magnet. I think this thing, I from just speaking with you now, like I'm thinking back to some scenarios. I think the folks that are getting the approval, of course, like, and I've done it before when I was a corporate guy, like meaning like IBM size corporate.
Mhm.
Um, that was like people get a little overconfident about their ability to get something approved, and
Yeah.
then they don't ask for enough. They just need to ask us for more stuff, like, hey, like include more things in here, because a lot of these folks are, you know, especially the higher up it goes with commercial brokerages, the less I would say these folks are trained in sales and in getting like things approved and stuff like that. And they're more so kind of more in the um, technical roles, less so than actual like sales, like interaction, like just like with the stuff that we do. So that
Yeah.
makes
Selling
awesome sense.
internally.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. Selling internally is totally different, and there's egos involved. So,
Yeah.
yeah, there is some sun there.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if that was the main challenge, like, I think you're going to nail it.
I think so. I mean, that's been a big one, and I think it's going to result in some leads too because of the white paper thingy. That's for sure.
Awesome. Well, I'm so glad that we could help you today. And I'm so glad that you came on. And anybody that has a commercial real estate development should talk to Gene because he'll help you sell it out.
Absolutely, we love doing it, and it looks great. It's the best business to be in. We make things look cool and they sell. It's very
Yeah.
fortunate.
Okay. Well, join us next time on Sales is Not a Dirty Word. And we'll see you then.
Thank you.